Welcome to Business Weekly Roundup. We will discuss important aspects that affect economy and markets. And important news of the week is first, inflation worry for RBI, and economists suggest 25 to 35 basis points rate hike in the next week meeting. Imports are stable from Russia. In fact, our dependency on Russia is increasing. Finance Ministry has begun consultations with stakeholders like states and business organizations to take up suggestions for budget preparation. China has intensified COVID lockdowns in some regions during this winter season. Rupee is steady and consolidating in the zone. First, RBI policy. MPC meeting, that is Monetary Policy Committee meeting, is scheduled from December 5th and it will release details on December 7th. In a significant, important event, RBI Deputy Governor Michael Patra accepted that global situation is uncertain. In fact, the present environment is tough to frame policy decisions because, you see, one way inflation is rising, and so to combat, we need to raise interest rates. On the contrary, businesses are right now recovering from COVID-induced stigma. So, much rate hike will impact its business and economic growth. So, that is why this present economic environment is tough to frame policy decisions. That's what Mr. Patra has said that. And in a significant news, Indian exports are suffering. In fact, HDFC chairman and veteran of banking business of India, Mr. Deepak Parekh, expects a slight slowdown in the Indian economy. And in fact, even in our last week analysis also we said that our exports across various sectors suffered a decline. Please refer to last week video to know more details. Now, Finance Ministry also expecting and also cautioning that global recession fears may have impact on our exports. This is a news clip. Economists are suggesting that RBI need to increase 25 to 35 basis points rates in the next meeting, and it has to maintain less hikes. At the same time, it has to maintain hawkish stance to combat inflation. In fact, last week released US inflation data provides relief, but still we are not out of woods because this inflation problem and its consequence is recession. These problems are persisting, and so we have to be on the edge. Imports are steadily rising from Russia, and in fact last week we discussed that Russia is our largest crude oil supplier now, and this week also we saw that Russia has become our largest fertilizer supplier. Our dependency on Russia is increasing to enormous levels. Generally, India imports around a total of $3 billion or 2.5 lakh crore worth of fertilizers every year. This is great opportunity for Russia, but for us, let's see, fertilizers require certain chemicals. India is lacking those chemicals, so for some time we have to dependent on imports only. In other significant event, last 6 months back, edible oil in India was in huge demand due to less supply. That was triggered by Ukraine-Russia war. Now these sunflower oil imports are back to normal, so it will help in reducing food inflation in India. our Indian currency is consolidating between the zone. Yesterday, that is on Friday, last business day, it is closed around 81.63 paise. It is consolidating in the zone. It is waiting for triggers. Good thing is that our forex reserves rise for second consecutive week. Now our forex reserves are at $547 billion. It touched a low of $500 billion, and our highest reserves were at $650 billion. To combat inflation and all that, rising imports, the RBI has to spend $100 billion. One significant news is that Christmas holiday season is about to begin in the Western Hemisphere, Western countries. Generally, it is marked by less activity and less policy decisions. Next month is going to be, unless there is some surprise triggers, it is going to be less volatile globally. But domestically, there are some triggers. We will see that. News triggers to look forward for traders in the near term, in the very near term, is that first thing is RBI meeting. It is high priority because any significant change can impact markets in either way. This news policy decision will be public on December 7th. And the next day, December 8th, Gujarat election results will come out. Generally, no surprises are expected. That's why I marked it as normal or less priority. If at all there is any surprise in Gujarat election, it can trigger some panic among investors. And low VIX environment is continuing, but with RBI meet ahead, volatility may rise. So caution ahead. Now, I'd like to tell the importance of events, why we should be aware of these events. Generally, markets are always bullish in the very long term, but in the medium term, there can be some triggers like policy decision changes, just to manage the economy or countries. So these policy decisions may change the course of direction in the medium term, but in the longer term, markets are always bullish. Traders need to pay caution here. Generally, unexpected news like corona trigger and Ukraine-Russia war and this inflation combat and consequent interest rate hike, these triggered bearish stance in the past 1 year. So we need to be aware of these news. And one important thing about markets is markets always love certainty. They need to know what is happening. Either it is good or bad, they need to know. They need to be aware of it. Any surprises, either good or bad, they will react violently, like a corona trigger. Markets crashed like anything. So we need to be aware of events. Please be aware of policy decisions and news triggers in the markets. We will provide you every week. And these are the important news for the week to look forward. I will provide chart analysis in the separate video. Thank you.